I know a lot of pet business owners dream of expanding their business to new areas, so I thought I would share my experience doing just that and some of the most important lessons that I've learned along the way. When you're considering whether or not to expand your business to a new area, you need to think about all of the same things that you thought about when you started in your original area. Those of you that watch my videos know how adamant I am on writing a business plan and some of the things that that business plan should include, such as your exact service area, the exact services that you will be offering and at what prices, who your ideal client is, and your marketing plan on attracting and acquiring these ideal clients. But not just that, you also need to consider if your current insurance and your current business license and all of that kind of stuff is going to still work in the new area. Now, when I expanded 3 hours south to Lakeland, I did not have to get another business license. I did not have to get more business insurance, and I did not have to create a whole other Google business listing. But if I was to expand to a completely different state, then I probably would have to get a whole other business license. I may have to get a whole other business insurance and a lot of other things. So there's a lot of preliminary research that has to go into your decision before you ever even start doing anything. Now, speaking of research, I think a lot of people probably assume that I did a lot of market research and saw a need for pet care in this new area, and that's why I decided to expand. But the truth of the matter is that I did zero market research before deciding to expand. I had actually already hired someone and had started marketing in the new area before doing any market research, which leads me to my first couple pieces of advice, which are A, do more market research than I did, but also B, don't base your decision to expand or not to expand off of any one factor. There are a lot of factors that go into this decision. For me personally, the main reason that I decided to expand is that one of my original team members in Jacksonville knew someone in this other area that wanted to become a pet sitter, and she said that she would help with any part of the expansion that was needed. So I knew that even though I had done no market research and I knew nothing about this other area, just having that connection and knowing that my original team member vouched so highly for this other person was going to make it all work in the long run. So had I done some market research, I probably would have decided to expand somewhere else instead of in Lakeland, but then I wouldn't have had that connection, which would have made the whole process a lot more difficult, even though I would have been expanding to somewhere with a higher need. So again, you have to take all these different factors into consideration. Do you have any connections or any knowledge of this area that you are wanting to expand to? Is there an actual need for pet care in this new area? Do you know how to do market research? Will you have to get another business license? Will your ideal clients in this new area be the same as your ideal clients in your current area? There are a lot of factors that you just need to do some soul searching on before making any decisions. I do want to mention here that we tried to make a Yelp profile and we tried sponsoring one of the local animal rescues and a whole myriad of other things to try to get the word out about our new service area, all of which led to no new clients. The most beneficial thing that we did at the time was to go around and introduce ourselves to all of the other local pet businesses and start forming relationships with them. And then the other most beneficial things that we did were pay-per-click ads on Facebook and referral incentives to each and every client that we had as they came in. Just a quick mention on the PPC ads. I had no idea what I was doing with running these ads, which caused me to waste thousands of dollars. Now, it did lead to some clients, but I'm saying we did not see a profit margin from this new service area until month 19. Yes, you heard that correctly. I was managing, hiring, operating an entire service area for over a year and a half with zero profit because I was wasting money on trying to do things that I did not have the knowledge base or the skill set to be trying to do. So one of my big pieces of advice here is stick to what you know and what works in your original area. And we did that in the sense of networking with other businesses and the referral incentives. And then if you want to branch off into something like PPC ads, which are a great way to build your business, you need to take an online course on how to run these ads beforehand so you don't waste a lot of time and money. Or just hire someone to run the ads for you. I ended up taking a course online about PPC ads way too late. I kick myself for not taking that course sooner. What about the actual dog walks and drop-in visits and the new client onboarding and the scheduling and the invoicing, all of the actual day-to-day running of the business? Well, this all comes back to something that I have talked about in multiple other YouTube videos, and that is systematizing and automating your pet business to the nth degree. I have literally posted multiple videos specifically about how to systematize your business, and I don't think there is any way to successfully expand to a new area that's far away without having set systems and processes in place first. You need to make these systems and then test them and perfect them in your original area before you start expanding to other areas. Some of the main things that you need to focus on here is scheduling and payments, your new client onboarding. What does a walker do exactly at a drop-in visit, at a dog walk? You need to write all of this stuff out step by step so that your team that is hours away from you can look at these documents and know exactly what to do, how to run the business without calling you frantically and you not being there to swoop in and handle something. For us, I already had an exact guide written out on what to do at each one of our services. So my new team members down there were able to just take these guides, read them over and say, okay, this is how I do a dog walk. This is how I do an overnight stay, and so on. And then we were already set up on Time to Pet so that we had all of our payments and scheduling and visit tracking and all of that consolidated and as automated as possible on that platform. We had already decided to keep all client communication on the instant messaging feature of Time to Pet. That way I could monitor each and every conversation from wherever I was. And then we also, for new client onboarding, we already had a new client intake form on our website that gathered all of the pertinent information. And we already had canned automated messages on our Instagram and Facebook pages redirecting potential clients to this intake form. So, I'm just scraping the surface here. This is all stuff that you have to have written down step by step, figured out and perfected in your original area before you start trying to do all this stuff in a new area. If you don't have this stuff figured out in your original area first, then you are just going to have a shit show when you try to expand to a new area. Now, I recently moved to a completely different state, and I am hours away from my closest client or team member, and I'm managing my entire business remotely from up here now. A lot of people have been asking me if I'm going to expand my business again to my new area. And the short, simple answer is No. And the whole reason I'm telling you this is just to highlight the fact that expanding your business to a new area is not a quick, simple, easy process. This is something that takes a lot of time, effort, and energy, both before you launch and especially after you launch. And you really need to think about what you want out of your future and what is going to be most beneficial to you, your business, and your brand. Now, I have done market research at the new place that I live, and I can tell you that there is a huge need for pet care in this new area. So it would be highly beneficial for me to expand to this new area, especially knowing how to do it now. But that's just not what is right for the future of my business and my brand. So again, circling back to what I said at the very beginning of the video, there are a lot of factors that play into this, and you really need to take the time to think about everything before making any decisions. Okay, so now let's talk about the actual expansion itself and how I went about it. So the very first thing that I did was that I drove down to Lakeland to interview this friend of my existing team member. So I interviewed her, I made sure that she was the right fit, and decided to move forward with her. Now, had she not been the right fit, or had I decided to expand somewhere where I didn't already have this connection, I would have had to have put out a hiring ad, and I would have had to have gone through all of your normal hiring steps. But because I decided to expand somewhere where I already had this connection, I was able to save a lot of time and energy on that side of things. After I hired her, I of course ran a background check and I started training her on our way of doing everything. From the services to the administrative side, I needed to make sure that if she was going to be running this new area for me, that she knew the ins and outs of absolutely everything. So I started doing that, and then I put out a new Facebook page for this new area, and I started doing paid Facebook ads saying things like opening soon, sign up now. And then I also went and had a whole new page built on our website dedicated to the new service area. That way we would have a little bit of SEO traction and be able to show up in Google results when people searched for pet sitters and dog walkers in the new area. I also went in and edited our Google My Business listing to include the new zip codes. And again, on this is something where you may have to go in and build a whole new website. You may have to go in and build a whole new Google business listing. There are a whole bunch of little things that are going to change from business to business and really area to area, depending on how you go about this. After I did all of that, then this new team member and I started going around to all of the other pet businesses and all of the other leasing offices to introduce ourselves and give them our information. And this is by far one of the absolute best things that we did as far as getting clients. And I have seen people in some of the pet sitter and dog walker Facebook groups argue the validity of taking the time to go and form these relationships with other businesses in this way. And I can tell you that you will get nowhere with this if you think that you can just run into another business, throw down your flyers, say hi to the first cashier that you see, run out, and then never go back. That's not going to get you anywhere. This is all about building long-term relationships with these people and with these other businesses. And when I say that, I mean that you need to focus on what you and your services can do to benefit the other business and their clients. That way, if you are helping them, they will want to turn around and help you in exchange. And when I say long-term relationship, I'm saying don't just go in there and introduce yourself once. You need to be in there regularly. When we were first starting out, the first few months, we were going into some of these businesses every week to make sure that we were front of mind with the people at the counter. And then over time, we were able to scale it back some, but we still years later do this in all of our service areas, and we go in quarterly to these businesses. And again, you're focusing on building the relationships. Another thing that we did was start setting up booths at as many local events as we could get into, just to show our face on a more community level. I'm just scraping the barrel here, but those are some of the main foundational things that I did right off the bat to get it up and running. Okay, so we have covered a lot in this video. We've covered so much that I literally have 4 pages of notes for myself to make sure that I stayed on track while recording this. And with that being said, I think that each point that I made in this video could be turned into an entire video in and of itself. So just leave a comment down below if you want me to expand on any of these points. And if I have several people requesting the same thing, I will make a video about it. Or you can click on the link in the description to go to my website and schedule a strategy session with me via a Zoom call, and then we can pick apart your business and any of this stuff that we've talked about in today's video. I just so appreciate you guys watching and subscribing, commenting, sharing the video. It truly means the world to me. I'm Doug the Dog Guy from Bad to the Bone Pet Care, reminding you to stay positive.